What's up, guys? Today I'll be putting the KA back in the right hand drive. Pulled it out because I thought it had that timing chain rattle. Pulled it apart. Turns out a main bearing was spun. Put new bearings in it, polished up the crank a bit. Fingers crossed it works. But gotta get that car in the garage first. It's about ready to go in. Just gotta jack it up, but the car is far enough in the garage it'll work. It's not all the way in, but it's a pretty nice day today. So leave the garage door open, leave the car half out. So yeah, jack it up, get it on jack stands, and drop it in. So the engine's dropped in, fully bolted in. Both mounts bolted up. Under there, transmission cross member and drive shaft are all in. And let's see. I don't know where I'm gonna go from here. Maybe bolt up the exhaust. The header was a one-piece unit, so I had to take it off. But I'll go ahead and put the headers on and put the exhaust up. Alright, it's getting close. So far I've done the headers. So headers and the exhaust is all bolted up down there to the test pipe. Got the fuel lines on, got the power steering pump on, all bolted up, all tensioned. Need to get a new battery, the old one was pretty shot. Throttle cable, I think everything on the bottom of the car is done. So throttle cable, put the ECU back in, wiring harness, intake and radiator, and fill it up with fluids, and I think it'll be pretty much good to go. It's going back together a lot faster than how it came apart. So it is really close to running now. Got the radiator in, hoses all hooked up, wiring harness, and the ECU tucked in the footwell. Kind of sloppy, but it's there. I'll fix it later. Got some miscellaneous grounding straps. Just need to put on the intake, fill the trans with gear oil, fill the radiator up with coolant, put a battery in. But I think I will start it up here pretty soon just to see how it runs, and then I'll put the finishing touches on it. So pretty much everything is back together with the exception of a few small things here and there. I did crank the engine over just to get the oil circulated, and everything seems fine. And this will be the first start. Let me roll the windows down real quick. So this is the first start on the rebuilt KA with a new timing chain kit. Fingers crossed, let's see what happens. So letting the fuel pump and ECU switch go there. Okay. Alright, attempt number 2. The constant 12 volt thick gauge wire to the starter was kind of wonky. I was messing with the harness quite a bit, putting it in the car. But that's all fixed, and fingers crossed. Take number 2. Going. There we go. Guess it was just knocking some of the stuff out. It's kind of lazy on the throttle. I'll press it and it'll take a moment to rev up. Kind of have to keep my foot on the throttle, otherwise it'll die. it runs. So that'll be about it for tonight. I got it put back together for the most part. I'm really only fighting an oil pan leak at this point. So I've drained all the oil. I put some RTV on the suspected leak points, and I'll let that dry overnight before filling it back up. Fingers crossed that works. As you saw, it did run a little bit rough. I fiddled with the distributor a little bit. It's turned to the right, and it did run a little bit better. I don't know if I have to re-stab the distributor back into the head or what, but yeah, it's pretty much back in for the most part. Got it all pulled, rebuilt, back in about the span of 3 days, so not too bad. Sorry I didn't film the actual pull and the rebuild, but I was kind of on a tight time schedule, had to get it all knocked out, all good to go. Rebuild went okay for the most part, but time will tell. That main bearing that was spun, I just kind of sanded it down, polished it a little bit, and you know, it was pretty close to spec, so it would seem. And you know, slap it all back together. Seems to be making good oil pressure with the new front timing cover oil pump, and you know, time will tell. We'll see what happens. When it gets running a little bit better, or after I get this oil leak fixed, you know, I'll take it out on the road, take you guys along, and I'll show you guys at what I thought was timing chain rattle, but could have been that main bearing. I'll show you how that sound is gone. It's running pretty smooth for the most part. I'm pretty happy how it turned out. But yeah, thanks for watching. Subscribe if you like the video and want to see more. Give it a thumbs up if you thought it was pretty good. Hope you guys were at least entertained, maybe learned a thing or two about putting a motor back into a 240. And as always, thanks for watching.